You are going to learn about painting hands today. And our guest today is William A Schneider. Hey, Bill, welcome.
Hey,
Bill is in the suburbs of Chicago. Is that right?
Near Chicago, Crystal Lake, Illinois.
Great. Yeah. Well, it's a little north of Chicago, isn't it?
North and west. We're actually 10 miles from the Wisconsin border.
Oh, you're that close to the border.
Straight south of Lake Geneva.
All right. Well, today, Bill, talk to me a little bit about what you're going to do.
I was going to do a really abbreviated quick hand demo, since the new video that's coming out is heads and hands.
Yeah.
And the problem with hands, of course, is that there are 27 bones, unlike the skull, which basically has two parts. You've got the cranium, which is a fused bunch of bones, and then the mandible, which is one bone, so it's really two parts. Hands have 27 bones and assorted ligaments and tendons and muscles and all kinds of anatomy to them. And so people tend to have trouble with that.
Everybody gets them wrong, and I'm one of them. I have real hard time with hands, so I'm really looking forward to this. Well, congratulations. Today we're celebrating because Bill has a brand new video out, just came out today. And this is, Bill, is this your 8th video with us?
I believe it is.
Oh, wow. I don't think we have any artist who's had that many, but today he's going to show you a little bit of painting hands from this new video, Heads and Hands. This is the final painting that he did, demonstrating heads and hands, and of course, the brand new video. Bill is going to be on today at 3 p.m. We're going to show a segment of that video for you as our gift to you for day number 177. And it is William A. Schneider, Heads and Hands, and it will be at 3 p.m. You can find it on YouTube or Facebook, and just look up Streamline Video. Just go in there and hit search Streamline Art Video, and then you'll find it. And of course, if you hit subscribe or follow, then it'll come to you automatically. Bill, we're pretty excited. Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
I think we need a big celebration that we've had 8 in a row. That's just unbelievable, and they all sell very well.
Well, you guys do an awesome job, and the videography and everything is just, it's been a great partnership. So I'm excited.
Well, let's keep it going for another 20 videos, okay? We'll have to figure out. We'll have to come up with some topics. Let's see, how to paint earlobes or something like that.
We'll get to
all right. Well,
forms.
Yes, that's right. So I'm going to drop you off for a second. I'll be back, and then we'll get started. I'm going to make a couple of announcements. Hi, everybody. I am, whoops. What did I do wrong here? I've got to figure out what I did wrong. Oh, there we go. Okay. And I'm not even drinking. Well, I rushed in. That's why I'm a little discombobulated. I rushed in. I was in town all the way in Lake Placid this morning. Went in about 7:30 this morning, had a couple of appointments, had some lunch, rushed back here across the lake to the boat. As you may or may not know, we're boat access only. I'll give you a little shot of the lake today. It's just beautiful. And you can't see any color in this shot, maybe a touch, but I was looking at the mountain this morning, and the mountain is starting to turn red. So it happened overnight because it got really cold last night. There was frost on the ground this morning when I woke up. And so another 2 or 3 days, I think that mountain will be red. I'm going to get out and do some fall color painting. And so hang on a second. I had a phone call coming in. Anyway, I'm Eric Rhoads, publisher of Fine Art Connoisseur and Plein Air magazine, and we have been here every day, 177 days in a row. Our goal is to keep you occupied, keep you doing something that's fun, learning something new, learning about art, learning about painting. I'm thinking about, we should just call this Eric's Daily Art Lesson. That's what it seems to be. Yesterday, I learned some things in my 25 years of painting I never heard. And the day before, I learned some things in the 25 years of painting I never heard. Everybody's got a different angle and ideas and ways of approaching things. And so you're getting a full education by watching this daily at 12 noon. Then, of course, every day at 3 p.m., we're giving you samples of the over 400 videos that we have produced, full-length videos. Most of the videos we produce these days are anywhere from 5, 10, 20 hours. I mean, they're entire courses from some of the top masters in the world. Let me give you a couple of announcements, and then we've got some prize to give away. First off, I gave away yesterday, announced that I was giving away my book, Make More Money Selling Your Art. And the winner is Dewey Heppy of Sikeston, Missouri. All right, Dewey, this baby's going in the mail to you. All right, thank you for that. Congratulations. Today we're giving away a digital subscription to Plein Air magazine. And the way to win that is to go into the comments section and leave a comment. We like to know where you're from. That's always helpful. But at least leave a comment. A lot of you, probably the majority of people watching, never leave a comment. And that's okay. We respect that. But if you want to win something, if there's something desirable like the digital subscription to Plein Air magazine, you should do it. Now, the Plein Air magazine is the first magazine I started in the art world because I became a plein air painter and I felt like there was going to be a movement, but boy, howdy is there. Anyway, this magazine is the #1 selling art magazine nationally across America at Barnes and Noble stores. #1 selling, outsells all the art and all the photography magazines combined. Pretty cool. We're pretty proud of that. And we just recently got the magazine accepted into, or actually invited into, Michael's stores. We're the only art magazine in Michael's stores. So if you want to go into Michael's and get one, we would appreciate it, and they would appreciate it, and you will enjoy it. I guarantee it. You're going to love it. It's a great magazine. Anyway, we're giving away a digital subscription tomorrow, and the digital subscription has, of course, you can read it on your iPad, you can read it on your phone, you can read it on your computer. The digital has 20% more content. We always have content we can't use because there's always only so much space. Well, it's the weekend, and that means on Sunday morning, I'll be doing Sunday coffee. I've been doing this for 2 or 3 years in a row now, and you go to coffeewitheric.com and you can get a free subscription, and it's kind of not really about art. Once in a while, I touch on art. I certainly touch on the impacts of art in my life, but it's really about kind of a philosophy on life. And so you can get that for free, Sunday coffee. Check it out. Also, something else you need to check out is the Plein Air Salon Art Competition. Now, we're giving away $30,000 and $15,000 to the grand prize winner. This is last year's winner, Tom Hughes. He also gets his image on the cover of Plein Air magazine. Now, I will tell you that we have just judged the salon for this year. We were going to give it away at the Plein Air convention, but we couldn't hold the Plein Air convention, and we thought, what do we do? So we decided we're going to do an online event, and I want to show something to you real quickly so that you can see how this is done. First off, if you go to pleinairsalon.com, here, I'll go back to the home page. Go to pleinairsalon.com, and then you will see this, or you can see this yellow bar here, and that essentially says, click here to register for the virtual 9th annual awards ceremony, okay? The awards ceremony, if you click in there, we're having an awards ceremony a week from today at 8 p.m. Eastern, and everybody's invited. We'll also put it out there on Facebook Live and so on, but this is where we're going to give away $15,000 and the cover of Plein Air magazine to a new winner, and we're going to award $30,000 in prize money. And so you want to watch that. Even if you're not, if you've entered it, yes, but even if you haven't, you should watch it. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's a week from today at 8 p.m. And so you can go in there and you can click on it and sign up. You don't have to pay anything, and it just will help remind you. It'll send you reminders of when to watch, but also you can watch your social media, put it in your calendar for next Friday, the 25th at 8 p.m. for the Plein Air Salon Awards competition. Anyway, okay, now back to you, back to me. Okay. What else do I have? Well, something that's coming up. We have not done much to officially announce this yet. But we have a lot of people in the watercolor world who ask us if we would create something special for them, because our most recent virtual conferences didn't have a lot of watercolor in them, and that's because we didn't have the opportunity to have multiple stages like we do. So watercolorists, we're going to be doing Watercolor Live. You can go to watercolorlive.com And soon you'll be able to see a stellar faculty. We will announce that on Wednesday next week, and you want to get on board. We think this is going to be a smash hit. The other thing that's going to be a smash hit is Realism Live. Now, Realism Live is taking place the 20th through 24th of next month, so it's going to be coming up soon. And on the 20th, there's a beginner's day, and then there's 4 other days. So 5 total days of the top realist drawing and painting people in the world, some of the top artists. And the faculty is ever growing, and we have a couple new ones to announce. First off, Eric Capel, fabulous landscape painter who paints very much like the Hudson River School painters, is going to be teaching landscape painting. We're going to have probably one of the greatest figurative artists in the world, Dean Mitchell, is going to be on with us, and you don't want to miss that. Aaron Meads is going to be teaching in the Beginner's Day, teaching basic drawing for those of you who want to learn how to draw a figure or a face. Jesus Emmanuel Villarreal is going to be teaching. I'm not going to tell you what each one's doing, but Todd Casey is teaching still life. This conference has figure, still life, landscape, portrait, flowers, etc. So it's got a little bit of everything. Cordelia Hernes, who was on the show the other day, is going to be completing a painting. Stefan Bauman will be doing that for you. Jean Stern will be doing art history. Mark D'Alessio, plein air painting and landscape painting. Tony Serenai, our still life artist. William A Schneider, who is our guest today, is going to be working with us on the basics day, the beginner day. Connor Walton from Ireland is going to be on. Kathy Odom is going to be teaching. Kathy Anderson will be teaching. Jeff Legg, Daniel Graves. I talked to Daniel yesterday from the Florence Academy. He's got something very big planned. It's going to be exciting. Dan Gerhardt is going to be on. Victoria Herrera, Juliet Aristides. If I could draw like that, I'd just give about everything to be able to do that. She's going to teach you. Daniel Sprick, world-class top artist. Joshua LaRock, Rose Franson, and Graydon Parrish, who was on the other day, who's going to do a Bouguereau painting for you, an actual copy of a full Bouguereau. So that's going to be pretty cool. That's called Realism Live, and you want to get your seats. The price goes up $200 on the 30th, and we're well over 1,200 now, and now we're moving towards the 1,300 mark, and you want to get in on that before we have to cut it off. And so it is guaranteed, 100% money back guarantee. If you don't like it by the end of the first day, let us know. We'll refund your money. We'll cut the cord so you don't have to watch it anymore, but you're going to want to watch it. It is so fabulous. We offered this guarantee the last time around at the Plein Air Live. Not one person took us up on it because they loved it. And so we think you're going to love it too. So get registered at realismlive.com. Okay, so one other thing. Soon I'm going to be in New Hampshire, the White Mountains. Speaking of fall color, I love to paint color, and I don't live in a place where I get that. And so I wanted something that I could do a retreat for artists where we could spend a week together, paint all day, sit up at night and chat and play and eat and drink and, whatever we do. And so we're still doing it. This is the only live event in person that we're able to do this year. And so we have some spaces left because of COVID. We're asking everybody that comes has been quarantining for 2 weeks. We also ask that, we're all going to follow mask rules and so on when we're indoors and be very, very careful social distancing. We're going to be painting all day, every day outdoors in the amazing fall color. And Eric Capel, who you saw a minute ago, is going to be telling us his favorite painting spots. And, we might even be able to get him to show us a little bit about painting. I don't know. It's not a workshop, but maybe he'll do a demo or something. No pressure, Eric, if you're watching, but that would be kind of cool. So anyway, that's coming up, so you can register for that. Also, I should tell you, we have the Artist and Selfie Painting Competition, and that is going to end on about the 10th of October. You want to get we all were doing self-portraits. We're trying to create a historic document of artists of our day. So we want self-portraits, paintings of other artists painting outdoors and plein air, and paintings of art studios. And we're going to be judging those. and we're going to be awarding some big prizes, and then we're going to give those prizes away during the Realism Live event. Now, if you're not registered for that, we'll still have we'll have the Artisan Selfie Competition live for everyone to see, and you'll be able to do that. All right. So anyway, I think that's all the announcements I have. Oh, I should mention that these lovely people are sponsors and supporting the Realism Live event. And of course, there are more that are jumping on board now, but make sure you support these people because they're out there supporting you. All right, now we're going to get back to William A. Schneider. And Bill, welcome.
Glad to be here.
Who's that on the phone in the background?
That's my bride sneaking in the door.
Wow, you married up.
I did. You're on camera live with hundreds of people.
Thousands.
Thousands. She's leaving.
So, Bill, as I was mentioning earlier, Bill is just a fabulous painter, a fabulous instructor. We have worked together on a number of videos. Bill had done videos with Lilidol before we were graced with the ability to take that over for them. And Bill continues to crank out videos and bestsellers. And I just want to show you a couple of the things that he's done over the years. First off, let me show you some of his work just so you can see it. Bill, one thing about Bill is he does multiple mediums and he does multiple styles and approaches. So you can see that he's just got a lot of different approaches and some absolutely beautiful work. And every time I turn around, Bill, you're winning awards. So that's pretty cool. So here's some of the other videos that Bill has done. This is an early one, Design Secrets of the Masters, 10 Keys to Successful Paintings. Teaching the Limited Palette Techniques. This one is Princess, Composition in Warm Light. And then we took over and we've released these since, and this is Composition Secrets for Figure Painting. Such a beautiful painting. This one is NICOLAI FECHIN's Painting Secrets, and man, did he nail it. And then this one is Pastel Painting Secrets. I don't think I had 8 there, but there must have been more. Anyway, we're celebrating today because Bill's new video just releases today, and it's called Heads and Hands with William A. Schneider, and he's demonstrating that. And of course, you see that today at 3 p.m. Not the full video because it's very lengthy, but you're going to get about an hour sample of it. And this will be a chance to see the video. We'll sample it a little bit. And of course, we give discounts on these videos the day that we're airing them. So go ahead and see that at 3 p.m. on YouTube or Facebook by searching Streamline Art Video. And Bill has decided to give us a little bit of demonstration today on hands because it's such a difficult topic. Right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm going to turn it over to you, Bill. You're on screen now.
All right. So this is a very much abbreviated demo of a lot of the information that's in the video. The video has a lot of quick, pragmatic hacks to get some of the anatomy of the hand. And I'll just mention a couple of them right now. If you look at the palm, you'll note that the fingers don't come to a point. A lot of people will make them as if they were a V, but there's a space between the fingers. And the pad here rises up on the fingers, but from the back side, you see into that pad. So there's a distinction between the front and the back of the palm. There are 3 fleshy mounds on the palm. And so if you don't put those in, it looks kind of like a salamander hand or something. And one of the problems that I see very, very frequently with artists that don't have a lot of experience is they either make the fingers too long or too short. And here's a quick hack. This distance from tip of the finger to the knuckle is generally about the length from the knuckle to the end of the forearm bones here. In the video, I actually show a skeleton of a hand, and it's a lot easier to see some of these things in 3 dimensions in the skeleton. But those are just a couple of quick little hacks. And what I'm going to demonstrate right now, I've got some references here. I have a ballerina, her name's Hala. She modeled for me a bunch of times. And so I had her posing, doing different, ballet moves. And she looked at this and said, 4 fingers. And I went, what? She said, 4 fingers. And I said, okay, yes, you have 4 fingers. That's good. She said, no, they are trained when they do their poses so that no matter what angle, you're supposed to be able to see 4 fingers.
Really?
So that's part of the training that ballerinas undergo. And so, so I've got her hands, and I'm going to use that as a demo. Although I'm going to demo this hand. I don't know how closely you can see it, since we're filming.
We can't see it very well, and a lot of us are on small screens. But I should also tell you that whenever you're talking away from the camera, your audio drops by about half. So that's going to be tricky. That's going to be tricky. So you have to talk louder.
Talk to the camera. Thank you, Eric, for mentioning that. If I tried to get the microphone hooked up, and I hate technology, and it hates me too. But
it doesn't hate you. It loves you, Phil.
I'm just responding. But in any case.
Well, you have viewers from Egypt. We have Saudi Arabia. We have, let's see here. I just saw someplace else, South Africa. And of course, all over the United States. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in every day. It's really nice.
Thank you. So it must be the middle of the night in some of those places.
It is. I mean, in Saudi Arabia, she sits up in the middle of the night every night and watches.
Wow.
She is so dedicated to her art.
Wow. That's half the battle. People say, oh, I wish I had talent. It's 1% talent, 99% perspiration.
That's right.
It's the amount of work you put in. So anyway, I can get started, and I will try to remember to keep talking to the camera.
Or talk louder if you're not facing the camera.
Okay.
All right.
One of the things that I see frequently when people try to paint hands, you've got all of these different fingers. There's 3 joints visible on the fingers, 2 joints visible on the thumb. And so people start trying to draw each little segment in each finger. And each little segment's not exactly accurate. So by the time they're done, the whole thing just doesn't look right. This method, I certainly recommend if you're doing it as part of a larger figurative composition, and that is do the mass of the entire hand and then do the drawing by carving in on the outside with the negative space. And I'll show you what I mean.
Okay, I gotta tell you something real quick. You've probably heard this, but you've heard the term that'll cost you an arm and a leg. Do you know where that comes from?
Middle ages torture. I don't know.
Well, no. It's from the early stages of portraiture, because they would charge based on how many hands or how many arms were in the portrait. So if they would charge you more for an arm and a leg, that's where it comes from. That'll cost you an arm and a leg.
Okay.
True story. Look it up.
That makes sense.
Hey, Pakistan has joined us. Hello, Zahor. All right.
Hello.
Okay, Bill, you're back.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, I pre-mixed some paint just so that I wouldn't spend a lot of time mixing paint. And since I only have one camera and it's fixed on this, you couldn't see me mix the paint anyway. So I've got some pre-mixed piles. And what I'm going to do is sort of—
Can you show us? Can you reach up and show your palette real quick?
Yeah, I'll try.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Oh, so you have the grayscale showing on your palette. That's a good idea.
Yeah. So how's that? Are we still in focus?
Yep.
Good. Okay. So I'm just going to get started and do the sort of the general mass that I want this hand to be.
Now your head's in the way.
I kind of need my head when I paint.
Yeah. What if you shift your easel over to the left, and then let's see if we do that. Let's try that. Oh yeah, I'll move the camera. Now maybe you're right-handed? Okay, well, do what you can. Let's try it.
Okay, I'll try to lean out. That's going to distort my perspective. But what I'm
It's
doing
not easy, I know.
is I'm just trying to get the general mass, and I'm using thinned paint. This is the only time I use thin paint.
Thinned with.
Sort of tone the canvas, and I'm trying to get the mass of that hand going into the arm. And I'm not worried about being completely accurate with this because I'm going to carve into it anyway.
All right. And what did you thin your paint with?
Just mineral spirits.
Okay.
So that's sort of all I need at this point.
Looks done to me.
Just so it's sort of dry. And then sorry, I had to run off and get a piece of vine charcoal because I'm going to just do some very, very basic measurements. So I'm measuring from tip of middle finger to the wrist bones, to the knuckles, compared to knuckles to wrist bones, and she's about 50-50. So I want to just note that point. So here's going to be the tip of the finger. Here's the wrist bone. So I want something that's 50-50. Because I want to make sure that I don't have the fingers too short or too long. Because that is the kiss of death. So, and I'm going to ignore, I don't know if you can see this, but there's a little bit of a finger sticking out. I'm going to ignore that because it just looks weird. Once you've got that point, you can then line up, this finger is short of that point. And the V of the thumb is a little bit on that side of this point.
Why, Bill, why didn't you just sketch out the hand before you lay it in the ground?
Because then I would be coloring within the lines, and it's better to do it this way because it's like when Sargent painted a head, he would paint the head a little bit larger and then carve it in with the background. Yeah. And that way you don't get spaces around the edge, nor do you get the too tight effect of, I'm going to make my lines and I'm going to color within the lines, and that just automatically puts you into this tight world.
Oh, that tip alone was worth it.
Background, yeah. It'll be more fluid. And also some of this color will bleed into that background.
Well, we got our money's worth today. You guys paid a lot of money for this. That was great advice.
Cheap at twice the price. Okay. So now I'm taking background color, and I'm just going to use that to carve the negative space to actually do my drawing. So this goes, you can see that and by the way, Bill Parks, my life drawing teacher, always said, see how square you can make the round. What? In other words, use straight lines rather than curved lines when you do your drawing. It's more accurate and it's more powerful. Even if you're not exactly accurate, it looks like it was done with intent. So
Gabriel is asking, are there x-rays of Sargent's work to see the carving of the head smaller?
I believe there are, but I couldn't swear to that. But I have read descriptions of some of the sitters who talked about his methodology.
Yeah.
Where he talked about doing that. So I that's commonly accepted knowledge, but.
You know, his grandnephew, Richard Ormond, who's written all the books on Sargent, watches this show many days. I hear from him all the time. So, Richard, if you're watching, if you know that there are X-rays, put them in the comments.
By the way, my background color has some ivory black in it, and I heard people say, don't use ivory black, don't use black. And I say, Sargent used black, Zorn used black, Richard Schmidt used black, Dan Gerhardt uses black. So why again should I not use black?
Well, I think what people mean is don't misuse it.
Yes.
The one thing that I see oftentimes, as a matter of fact, I was judging an art competition just yesterday, and I could see someone who used straight out of the tube black as an outline, and it stuck out like a sore thumb. And I think that, so the goal is, if you're going to use it, don't misuse it. People don't necessarily know that it's typically something you're mixing into other things. Makes great greens, makes great blues.
Yes. So when I do this, I'm finding that there are places that I should have made my initial toning a little bit larger.
Yeah. And that's the fleshy area anyway, isn't it?
Right. So,
you guys have questions, put them in the comments section.
Yeah, and Eric, you'll translate for me since I can't see anything.
Yeah, of course. Well, we'd rather watch you rather than having you watching the camera.
You know, every time I do a demo, I always wonder, is this the one?
Meaning, the one that you screw up?
The one that completely falls apart? It hasn't happened yet, but it will.
You know, it's a lot of pressure to be painting in front of thousands of people. And they say that pure black cracks. Is that true?
It could be. I don't think that. It may crack a little bit more than anything else. I think the main objection to black is that it's so opaque that it sort of deadens the color. You know, all of these mistruths that artists tell each other have some root in truth. And I think that where this don't use black came about was when they invented the portable, the tin or the lead paint tube, and artists could actually take their colors outside. The French Impressionists, for the first time in history, could go out and look, and they'd say, "Sacre bleu, that the shadow is not dark, muddy brown. It has violet in it. It has blue in it. It has green in it." And so anyway, pardon me.
Did they say that in English?
But so they discovered that. And if you go to a gallery or a museum that has the rooms sort of organized by epoch, you will see when you come to the late 1800s, suddenly all the color explodes.
Yeah.
And so to get the color in those colorful shadows, if you put ivory black in there, it just really deadens it and makes it opaque. I think that was the germ of truth. I don't normally use black in shadows. I use black for skin tone because, like you mentioned, Eric, you know, it makes a wonderful green.
Yeah.
You know, ivory black and yellow ochre and a little bit of white makes a great green tone for some of the greener areas in the flesh.
Yeah, also for trees.
Yeah, trees.
Yeah.
So,
hello, Niagara Falls. They have a great video called Niagara that Thomas Tigler did. I never miss an opportunity to plug something, right?
when you bought Lily Doll, my sales quadrupled. So keep plugging.
Yeah, I get criticized for marketing. Can I tell you?
Yeah, well. Okay, so you can
Hi,
see
Montreal.
by using the negative shape, I have a more powerful looking hand than if I had to draw out all of these little positive shapes. And so now I can go back in and sort of render the masses. So now I'm using unthinned paint, and fingertips tend to be a little more pink. I have to keep remembering to look at the right reference. So I'm painting this one, then I start looking up at this one and say, wait a minute, my drawing is off.
Well, you'll end up with a Picasso.
Thank you.
Hello, Maui.
Gotta throw the background color in.
Well, the people in Buchanan Dam, Texas are out of power currently. I'm sorry, Marla, but it's good to use your battery to watch this program.
Oh,
Question,
yeah.
how do you measure the thumb compared to the fingers?
I looked and I saw that the thumb kind of lined up with the middle joint of this finger above it. And that finger joints are in the ratio of 3:2, which, by the way, was Mucha made that observation and used that as the entire basis for his design principles. But if this is 3 units from here to here, then this is 2 units. And if this is 3 units from here to here, then this is 2 units.
Really?
Yeah.
So is that kind of based on the golden mean? Same principle?
No, not exactly. And it's just the way things grow. Insect bodies are segmented that way. Many plants, most plants, as they're growing and developing, go through that 3:2 sort of relationship for different parts. And Mucha observed that and said that, gee, this seems to be a universal principle. What if I applied this to art? And it's actually in my design, the composition for figurative painting. I've got a whole section on that Mucha principle. And of all the different ways to lay things out on a picture plane, that is the most interesting because it's almost impossible to reverse engineer, because you have to know what 3:2 relationship you measured first. And then if you divided this into 3:2, you have to know what came second and whether it was vertical. And so it's this sort of branching methodology, and you have to know the sequence, otherwise you can't figure out what he did. But it always looks right.
Did I ever tell you my Mucha story?
No.
So, we take art collectors on tours every year throughout Europe, usually at one or two areas. Next year, we're going to Berlin and Vienna. And one year we went to, I think it was Budapest. Maybe it was Prague. I don't remember. Anyway, we managed to get Mucha's daughter-in-law, who was 92 at the time, to give us a private tour of his home. And that's because our editor knows his son, the daughter-in-law's son, who's an art expert. And so she said, I'm showing you paintings that Mucha has done that have never been published, that no one knows about. This is his personal private collection, mostly paintings of family members, and also his personal collection of artists that he collected, friends of his. And so we got to go through her home and see all these paintings. And then after that, we arranged to see the Mucha epic, Czechoslovakian epic series. He did 16 paintings, or about 30 or 40 feet square. And he had donated them to the city of Prague, but he forgot in his documentation to say they must always be displayed. Well, they picked them up, and we were the last humans to see them, and then they confiscated them the next week, and they were to go into a warehouse for 100 years. because they didn't have any place to display them and didn't, they're into modern art. And then somebody recently managed to get them out and take them to Japan on tour. But so 2 great Mucha moments in our life.
Wow. I always wanted to see those paintings.
They're
Mucha is
incredible.
so well known for his posters and his graphic work, but his paintings are phenomenal.
They're incredible.
Very incredible. So I'm doing a certain sequence here. So first I toned the canvas, then I've got some of the pink for the tips. I did the background to kind of carve out the drawing. Now I'm going to do the shadow patterns. And pardon me for stepping in front of the camera to some extent, but I've got to be square to my painting. So a little bit of a shadow here.
What are you using for shadow color?
A little of this and a little of that, but I'll tell you what this and that are. I've got mineral violet, which is actually manganese violet, which is kind of a deep purple, bluish purple color. And I mixed that with a little bit of yellow ochre and then some permanent red, and it wasn't quite dark enough, so I added a little touch of ultramarine blue to it.
Okay.
But I want the shadows to be warm shadows. One of the first questions I always ask myself is, what was the temperature of the light? And I took these photos and they were taken in my studio under north light. So it's cool light. And the cool light, if you block the cool rays, meaning the light with blue rays in it, what's left by definition has less blue. So it's more on the opposite side of the color wheel. So more red, orange, and shadows on flesh tone 90% of the time lean towards violet. Sometimes they lean towards a greener color, but in this case, more of a violet-y color. So that's why I want sort of a warm, gray, dark, violetish color. And that's what I've got here, because I want that to be warmer than this.
What are you painting on? Is it canvas?
It's linen. It's
linen,
cloth number 15. I buy 82-inch by 5.5-yard rolls, and I just cut off pieces and staple it to a board. And then, particularly for demos.
Yeah.
And things like
and
that.
Somebody asked us what kind of easel. Is that a Hughes easel?
That is a Hughes easel.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the ultimate easel.
They're pricey.
Well, yeah.
But you're buying it for your lifetime.
Once in your life and you're done.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a Hughes easel knockoff, which I got for about a third of the price of a Hughes. And it works great. But they got busted because I guess it was a counterfeit. And they got sued probably by Hughes, I'm guessing. That's already taking form.
I'm sorry, what?
I said it's already taking form.
Yeah, well, there's basically 2 values in flesh. When I studied with Harley Brown, he handed out a questionnaire, and he had a number of little questions or things you should ask yourself. And so his last 3 questions were, how many values in the face? How many values in the face? How many values in the face? He kept making it bigger type to emphasize that he was saying there's 2 values. And what he meant was there are 2 value families. There's the light and there's the shadow, and you have to keep them separate.
Right.
And there are, in reality, there's more than 2 values, but if you simplify it into just the 2 values, you will get 90% of the way there. And then if you soften the edges and do a little bit on the half tones, you're pretty much done. So.
How long have you been painting, Bill?
I'm sorry?
How long have you been a painter?
Since I was a little kid.
Okay.
But my grandparents gave me a set of oil paints when I was 9, which
wow.
I would never give any of my grandkids a set of oil paints when they're 9.
Yeah,
but they gave it to me and said, go out in the studio and play. And so I did. And then I just dabbled with it because I was into sports, and I was into music, and I was into all kinds of other things. And I really got the bug again, seriously, in 1990. I saw an exhibit called Monet in the 90s at the Art Institute. And I went and saw these paintings and said, wow, these are fantastic. And I could do that.
Yeah.
So,
oh, good. Well, it's good that you thought you could do it.
And then I ended up at the American Academy, and I was in their Saturday program every Saturday for 8 years.
Yeah. Awesome.
And took a bunch of workshops, and here I am.
Okay, so we're at the 10-minute warning mark.
Okay.
Keep your questions coming in, everybody. I want to see some questions from Dreamliners.
Okay, what I'm going to do now is just sort of give a nod to the half tones.
Is there any way you can get the camera closer?
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be nice because we're getting into some detail now.
Yeah, that's about as close as I can get it. How's
That works for me. That makes a big difference.
Good.
You're welcome.
So I'm using some, I see a little bit of a kind of a bluish ring. You probably can't see that. And particularly photos lie to us anyway, but I'm in part remembering what I saw. So I just want to soften the edge of the shadow where it's going into the flesh and the light.
Hi from New Zealand.
Hi, New Zealand.
So tell us, somebody said, what is your flesh color? You never use you don't buy flesh color paint out of the tube. I used to do that thinking that was the right idea, but what did you use to mix your flesh?
Here was the process that I did. The first question I asked myself was, self, what is the temperature of the light? And I answered it was cool, meaning it had more blue rays in it. So I took some white and mixed a little bit of ultramarine blue right into that. So I had this kind of bluish pile. And then flesh, we're basically a grayed orange. So then I mixed some permanent orange into that. And the permanent orange made it look a little too green. So I added a couple little dribs and drabs of permanent red medium. And that gave me my basic flesh tone. That was this color.
Uh-huh.
And then there are areas that I saw that were more violety and areas that were more green. And so I mixed some of those colors into the same pile. I mixed it as one puddle so that there would be no space in between so that the value stays tight, which, by the way, I strongly encourage. So now I'm putting thick paint for the flesh and the light, and I'm going to do a very abbreviated version here because we're at the 10-minute warning 5 minutes ago.
3 minutes ago.
3 minutes ago? How much time do I have?
You've got 7 minutes.
Okay.
You could do it. You could add a face in 7 minutes.
I appreciate
I know you can paint fast.
your confidence in me, Eric.
What kind of brush are you using?
This is the Robert Simmons Signet, I believe. No, it's not. It's a Raphael.
Okay. Question is, do you blend? Let me see if I can find it. It went away. Do you blend or soften edges in the final painting? Is there such a thing as over blending the hand or face?
Yes, I do, and yes, there is.
Okay.
You know, the closer I get to the finish, the less I blend things. But it's interesting, you know, if you look at Sargent's paintings, particularly paintings where he's got the society women in their satin gowns, he's got these, you know, thick, juicy brush strokes delineating the highlights. And they're so thick and so juicy that when we see it, that's all we see. And we think that he painted the whole painting that way. But if you mentally remove those thick strokes, everything underneath it is very finely modeled.
Yeah. To the person asking about why there's only 3 fingers, the model is, there's only 3 fingers showing, the others are bent back.
Yeah. Or she's an alien. On my reference, there's part of a finger sticking out there, but it looks too thin and weird. And so I just eliminated it. And what I could
For
do,
this purpose, yeah.
I mean,
Do you
if
ever
I
paint in
wanted to
watercolor or any other medium? We know you're a pastel artist as well. Do you ever do watercolor?
I have attempted some watercolor. I mean, I actually started studying watercolor. What I'm doing here, since somebody complained about this, I'm
You're adding another
figuring that
finger?
out a little bit.
Well, you're gonna kill your time.
Okay,
I think they get the idea.
I'm giving a little ghost finger back there so you know that it's.
You aim to please. That's very sweet.
I aim to please. Okay.
Okay, I'm being told to shut up and let you paint.
Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more highlight on this. A little bit of highlight here. A little bit of highlight here.
Very subtle.
Yeah, probably too subtle, but there's a little bit right here. Yeah, highlights on flesh are softer than you think they are, and they're not as bright. And there's a little bit of an area right below that knuckle where I need this to show that that's sort of descending. Given that I only have seconds left here, I don't do a lot of detail on things like fingernails and stuff like that. I'd rather have it be the impression. But I'm going to give a nod just to show that you can put a highlight on that fingernail and maybe a little bit of an indication of the nail bed to just.
Yeah, everybody should keep in mind that this is basically a 30-minute demo. What you've done here is what most of us couldn't do in 3 hours, or at least I couldn't do in 3 hours. I'll not say that about anybody else. And Bill's got a brand new video out today on painting hands and head. Congratulations.
Yeah, this is a very, very abbreviated version.
Well, it looks very realistic, though.
Well, I'm trying to get the essence of hand.
Yeah.
Trying to get the essence rather than boning the whole thing out. And, you know, I'll give all my disclaimers. I'm painting from the side instead of in front of my canvas. And the dog ate my homework. And what other excuses could I come up with?
You don't need any excuses. Done a great job. Would you, just for the sake of everybody, as soon as you wrap up, if you'll just pull your reference in front of the camera just so we can see the hand that you were copying.
Okay, am I done now?
Yeah, you can be done. All right, first off, thumbs up, applause for William A Schneider. All right, Bill.
Yeah.
Nice job.
One thing that I can't stand to leave. This should actually carve in more like that.
Yeah.
Once I got in square to it. Okay, here I'll show the reference. Can you see that?
Yeah.
This is the hand I was doing.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yes. All right. Well, we've learned a lot. This is a lot of really great tips in terms of the way to measure the 3:2 and the way to measure things in and lay it out. That's terrific. That's very good. Thank you.
My pleasure. It's now that I'm looking at it, it's not my best demo of all time, but
okay. Well, this, it's only a few thousand people will see this. By the time it's all said and done, maybe 20,000. But no pressure. Bill, thank you so much. Now,
get the video.
Tell us. Just tell us. Give me 30 seconds on the video.
The video came about, as you know, because there's all kinds of videos on painting heads. I had never seen one just on painting hands, and yet the hand anatomy is much more complex than the head anatomy. And oh, by the way, hands are as expressive as you can be. You know, people talk about Italians talking with their hands. Everybody talks with their hands. And I read something that we become used to disguising our faces, you know, the traditional poker face. Nobody thinks about disguising their hands. And so a lot of times you can put a lot of emotion in the hand itself, and it'll tell the whole story of the painting. I'm thinking of a painting by Waterhouse called Consulting the Oracle.
Yeah.
And the lightest light and the sharpest edge is on the high priestess's hand silhouetted against a window, and it tells the entire story of that painting. If you don't know the painting, you ought to look it up. It's one of the best ever made.
What's it called?
Consulting the Oracle by J.W. Waterhouse.
Okay, well, maybe I'll find it and pull it up real quick.
It's on my composition video.
Oh, it is. It's on your composition video. Okay. Well, hang on a second. I found it, and I'm just going to bring it up real quickly for everybody so that they don't have to look it up. I just have to figure out how to do it. Okay, hang on a second. All right, quickly. There it is. And you can see that hand highlighted in the hot spot of the light of the window. Pretty cool. All right. Well, Bill, thank you so much for being on today. This has been an absolute pleasure. Learned a lot, and it's great having you. Congratulations on your new video. It probably will break all the other records, like all your videos tend to do. And that's out today. Bill will be on at 3 o'clock today on Streamline Art Video's channel on YouTube and Facebook. And just go there and hit subscribe or follow, and you'll get it automatically. Comes on live at 3 p.m. Eastern today. Bill, thank you so much for being on. And oh, quickly, you're going to be teaching in the Basics Day on Realism Live. What are you going to teach?
I'm going to do a gesture. I'm going to do this sequence, a gesture drawing to get the action of the pose on a full figure, followed by the contour, kind of like I did with the hand here, except I'm going to be square to it, so it'll be more accurate. Then after the contour, the shadow pattern, then the half tones, then the highlights, done.
Oh,
and so
awesome.
we do it in those steps for beginners because it's an easier way to get the figure rather than starting at one point and trying to measure and draw everything out in great detail.
You're going to teach us how to cheat.
Yes.
All right. Great. Thank you, Bill. Applause for Bill Schneider. All right. Well, thank you, Bill. I just want to show you guys a quick 15-second promo.
Realism Today presents Realism Live, the ultimate art learning event, October 21 through 24. 5 days of online art lessons from leading artists. Learn to paint nature, people, flowers, and more. Become a better artist. Click the link to register now.
Okay, well, Realism Live, you got to get it done before September 30th to save $200. People from all over the world teaching, people from all over the world attending. It's going to be great. We're going to have a way to connect you with other people. You'll get to know other people. You'll interact with them. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's realismlive.com. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Thanks again to Bill Schneider. He's a rock star. Congratulations to Bill on his new video, Heads and Hands. I will see you guys tomorrow, Saturday, and I might not dress up tomorrow. You know, I just might be a little bit more casual. After all, it's Saturday, right? So thanks for 177 days in a row. You guys are rock stars for tuning in. All of you tuning in who are new folks, check us out. You can see there's a place you can go to see I think I dropped out. Anyway, just go to streamlinevideo.com/everything, and you'll find everything we do. Thanks for watching today, guys. Thank you again to Bill Schneider. Bye.